I am at Sunday. You both ready to go?
Yep.
I am ready.
We tried to keep
Sorry, go ahead.
We tried to keep off the road and the brush on our way to Duke's house. Despite our situation, the biggest thing on my mind right now is the ticks. Funny how the mind works. The faint shouts and yells coming from town are more frequent now. Another pop comes from that direction. Reminds me of the gun Kudzu has tucked into his waistband. He's never used one before, and it took us a solid couple of minutes to decide if he should even stick it there. Another pop.
Oh my.
Ooh, yes, I know. What was that thing that stupid people were doing where, like, they were taking a gun and pointing it at their junk and then, like, feathering the trigger, I think is what they called it, or something?
Russian roulette, but with your junk?
Hey, some
Wait.
people actually did shoot their nuts off. We'll say it's pretty sad. Alright. I can't help but think that that's where the motel is, where Jenna might be. Here, though, not much is out of place aside from the smell of smoke on the breeze. That is until we come across a body hanging from a tree about 100 yards from Duke's house. I'm the first to notice it, and when I do, I gasp and instinctively reach for Kudzu. He catches my hand, then looks up as he holds on to me. It's high up, maybe 50 feet, but from the markings on the fur, I think it's a fox. Oh, Jesus. Kudzu whispers next to me as I look away, feeling my stomach churn again. What the hell? How did he get up there? I look back and see that he's hanging by the wrists.
Canon is that these are from like the first hysteria in like the 1870s. That these, because it doesn't sound like the smoke room era people. And yeah, I don't know where else you're gonna have just mass hangings. But that's me. I don't think he could have done that himself. Although it looks fun. Can we do it? Come on, Kudzu.
Oh yeah, totes.
I'm used to being tied up now.
Yeah.
Brian opened me to kink. And that fun adventure we had.
I'm glad he did that. However,
Oh yeah.
the term is rope the term is rope bunny, not rope otter.
Rope bunny.
Well, that's his ex, but we haven't gotten there yet.
Chase is totally into BDSM now.
We both stare up at him for a little while longer, enough to notice the long vertical slashes down his back. Those are the same cuts I saw on the other guy. Kudzu whispers distractedly.
But who put him up there? And that looks fun. Again, Kudzu, can we try it? Please? I want to be tied up again already.
Don't make me get the pedal.
So Finn, or not Finn, Kaiser, you're saying that body that's tied up there, that's not from the current hysteria, it's from a previous one that just kind of got time warped in so everyone can see it?
That's my guess. Because, yeah, we see a bunch more bodies, and it's just like, where did they come from? Where did they go? Because no one commented about it again. So,
where'd it come from? Where'd it go? Where'd it come from? Cotton Eye Joe?
Yep. Well, in this town, they string you up for that. You stop a guy from getting married from, too long ago.
Mm-hmm.
True. Which is true.
Kudzu's silent, and I keep staring up at the guy. The first dead guy that I've ever seen. Suddenly, all of my motivation to get Leo starts to evaporate. Kudzu rests a hand on my shoulder, and I jump. Sorry. Kudzu pats me. You alright? I'll take you back, okay?
He just softly pets you, on your little otter fur.
On
he
your
just gives
otter
you
trouser.
He just gives you a belly rub.
On your otter trouser.
That sounded like the best idea in the world right now. I hesitate.
But
when I think of Leo, I imagine him in the same situation as I was with Brian. Duke didn't seem
Because
as
clearly Duke,
yeah.
because Duke clearly has a bondage table just ready to go, set up to put Leo on. That's clearly Duke's MO.
Duke didn't seem as fucked up, but I have no idea what he's capable of. That thought makes it feel as if my heart is dropping through the ground, so I grit my teeth and shake my head.
No, I'm okay. I'll just, hallucinate things and, not be able to walk and, probably get myself horribly injured with this process. But, I'm okay.
Kudzu looks at me closely, then nods. Okay, let's move back to the road. I don't think anyone is around right now anyway. I want to move towards the road, too, mainly because I'm actually starting to worry that moving further away from town is really dangerous. Duke's house is dark as we approach it. As we get closer, though, I see flashes of light from the window well. We both crouch next to the house behind a small cluster of sagebrush. Right, so all I can really think to do is knock on the door and see if he's there. I swallow. You'd stay hiding, of course, but if he does come out, I don't know. I may try to put him down right there.
Because we're all out of questions, so I'm just shooting.
Hell yeah.
And then once he's dead and on the ground bleeding, then I come out and help, right?
Kudzu lets out a low chuckle. Yeah, but again, I'm not sure if that's what I'll do. It might be. We might be able to talk him out of this.
I think they should just go down the chimney like Santa Claus, be like Panda Claus.
Oh yeah, totes. Yeah, you should
Trash
totally do
Panda
that.
Claus. Trash Panda Claus.
Yeah?
I don't have much faith in that plan, but if he isn't there, well, I'll probably go in and find Leo, right?
Oh, okie dokie. Pokey.
My heart rate picks up as I realize how close we are to making this happen. I start to have second thoughts. Maybe we should have at least looked for the sheriff? Maybe we should have gone straight to the motel?
I don't think Will is here right now, but would have been helpful.
All right.
I mean, the one time he actually has introspection, it's, hey, maybe I should not do the thing we're already committed to doing.
I know. Defective brain chase.
I can tell Kudzu is nervous too as he wipes his hands on his tank top before standing up slowly. Just watch him here. If he comes out with his gun, though, I'm not going to try anything. He hesitates. And if I get shot or something, don't help. Just run back to my house and start looking for your other friends, I guess. Now I'm really starting to feel unprepared for all this. Everything is moving way too fast.
Really, Chase? You're just now realizing that? Takes till literally the guns are out for you to realize that.
He's like, oh no, I'm in danger.
Yeah, the Ralph Wiggum meme.
I'm in danger. Jesus, Ralph.
Chases around with Carl, yeah. There really isn't any time, though. We have to save Leo as soon as possible. There's no telling what Duke might be doing with him. As Kudzu starts to move away, I get the urge to hug him. He's done so much for me lately, saving me and now trying to save Leo. But by now, he's already halfway across the yard to the house. I hold my breath and watch as Kudzu's dark form melds with the blackness of the house. It's like he's
that thievius raccoon, he stole my heart.
It's like he's being swallowed up by it in a way. After a few moments, I hear him knock on the door. I listen, trying to breathe through my mouth instead of my whistling nose, so I can better hear what's going on. Kudzu knocks again, much more loudly.
It's like a knock. It's just like kind of loud, and then it's just like
Yeah. Hey, it's good. I need some help. I look up and down the road, worried someone's going to hear us shouting. There's a light rustling behind me, and I look back, eyes wide. I don't see anything at first, but then I feel like there's a shape behind another grove of shade bush about 20 feet back. Something's crouched, the moonlight defining its shape through the brush.
Lynn, what are you doing in the bushes again?
I squint, completely stopping my breathing. It looks like it has a tail, a really thick one, like an otter. Was it Dale? I can't even tell if it really is a person, though. Chase! Kudzu shouts. Chase!
And Chase is like, "What's that?"
Well, I made a pond. Alright. Kudzu whisper shouts, and I jump before stumbling to my feet. The shape behind me doesn't move at all, and I try to reassure myself it's probably a rock. I jog over to Kudzu as he tries the door, trying not to think too much about what I just saw. Locked. He looks around for a while, then starts moving down the side of the house. Look for the window.
Are we gonna break one?
Maybe.
Because, kicking the door in, the universal key should just work fine. I mean, look at that little toothpick door.
Maybe.
I think
My otter foo will just kick that right down.
I think the foot is like the Sparta key.
The Sparta key. Well, I mean, we could do that. Maybe you can throw your shoulder into it a few times. Maybe. Should...
And then when you're hurt, I can take care of you.
yeah. When you break your collarbone for doing it incorrectly, we can go back to my place. Because it just has a daddy fetish. No, a son fetish.
Or it's like the door's electrified, so as soon as he tries to like break it down that way, he's just like Master Chief.
The game just suddenly turns into like an action platform where he touches the door and you just see his icon burst into electricity and fly off screen.
So it turns into Undertale. You have to get through a bullet hell to get through Duke's house.
Yeah. Dark shape. Okay, maybe it should only take us a few minutes to sweep the house, so then we can get the hell out. We quickly spot a window on the back of the house. Kudzu looks in and bites his lip. I'm just worried that Duke might still be out there with a gun or something. He bends over, picking up a sizable rock. Well, not much of a choice. If I say run, run. Got it? I nod, and Kudzu lifts the rock above his head before smashing it through the window. The sound is probably the loudest fucking thing I've ever heard in my life. I cover my own ears. Like that's gonna lessen the sound. Kudzu jumps to the side, away from the window, reaching back to hold on to me. The fur on Kudzu's body frizzes up, and I see his ears perked all the way, perked up as far as they can go. Once the final tinkling of the gas subsides, we both listen. My ears are ringing, but the only other sound I can hear are the chirping of the crickets. Finally, Kudzu lets out a soft breath. All right, let's go. I help him push out a few more shards of glass. Once that's done, the raccoon hoists himself inside, very carefully maneuvering around the sharp, broken edges. He turns and reaches out to me, helping me through in the same fashion. Ah, my leg.
You don't know how accurate you are, but
yeah, you've been reading ahead again, haven't you?
It's like one of the least athletic creatures on Earth, apparently.
Probably. I'm assuming now that he cuts himself. I was just going after like what was going to be the logical conclusion. That was funny. It was either leg or tail.
It was like this right here is like your next line to read is like tells you everything you need to know.
I mean, think about it. Kudzu's like essentially a professional burglar. He was obviously in some shady crap, right? So he's probably done this hundreds of times. He makes it look easy. Shish gets overconfident and cuts the hell out of himself.
Just like starts rolling over in like the window frames. It's like, oh god, it's all over my back. It's on my face. Just look
it's
at my
like a
wrist.
saw.
Well,
Oh,
Kutsu
my leg, pal. My chest. Oh, my gut.
Oh no, my neck.
Bleeds out from his dick
Kutsu's like,
badly.
no, the most important part, no.
Oh, starts sounding like that interview lady that fell when she was dropping grapes.
That was hilarious when it happened. But oh man, I feel so bad for her. That must have hurt so much.
Yeah, they had to hurt so bad. That or she's really dramatic, but
Yeah,
I know exactly how it feels to fall down on stuff like that. It
yeah,
hurts like hell.
yeah. Even
Scorpion.
though I'm trying to. I mean, now I'm just anticipating it. It's like a cup. We're like,
As soon as he does cut himself, we should all just do that just all together.
all right. Even though I'm trying to be careful, when I bring my arm in, it drags along the jagged edge of glass sticking out from the side. I grimace. The
See,
fiery.
you didn't have to wait that long.
Yeah, I know. But I said leg, not arm. A grimace, the fiery pain finally taking a moment to really set in. Shit, you okay? He grabs my wrist so he can pull my arm up and examine it in the moonlight and sucks in a breath. Oh, fuck. You might need stitches for that. That's when I
So
see the
let's
blood.
never dress it or do anything about it ever.
Yeah, you'll both have shirts. You could take one off or just rip off your sleeve and just bundle it.
Yeah.
But no.
Ooh, a shirtless chase. That'll definitely get Leo moving.
Mm-hmm. That's when I see the blood starting to ooze up from the fur. It's only about an inch long, but the amount of blood coming out is surprising.
Damn, I'll take care of it after we find Leo. Or not.
And
You know, those are my options.
this is
I'm Chase. I'm super prepared. Look at how much I'm bleeding.
This is Project Zomboid. He just dies before he finds Leo because he bleeds out.
Game.
It's like, darn, I missed my wrist, but it won't miss it this time.
That's awful. I love it.
He starts tossing glass shards up in the air and dodging them, and he finally starts getting cut on the back and head.
Yeah, well, Chase is training his observation hockey, so, you know, it's critical training.
Yeah, he's trying to increase his toughness in Genji.
Does his dodging skills for Elden Ring?
Mm-hmm.
Get dodged through it.
I'll get you yet, Radon. Blah!
I pulled my arm away, despite Gudzu still trying to take a look at it. Alright, I'll see if we can find something to wrap it up with. Gudzu starts fumbling along the wall and finds a light switch. I'm surprised to see it a fairly quaint and tidy home. Unlike Gudzu's...
I mean, he even has the 10 Commandments up on his mantle. Look at that.
Yeah, it's like it looks like stone
tablets. Yeah.
It shows us how old Duke is.
Yeah. I mean, he remembers back in the good old days when they were coming down the mountain. Guy walked up and he goes, I bring you the 15! 10 commandments! Unlike Kudzu's trailer, though, there's barely anything in it. There's a single sofa and a very old-fashioned TV in what I presume is the living room. There's a fireplace and a few dirty-looking chairs on the other end of the room. In front of us is a long hallway with a few doors on both sides. All right, check every room and door. It's not a very big house. Kudzu sets off down the hall. Look for stairs. I feel like he'd be in the basement. As Kudzu goes into the room on the left, I peer into the one on the right. It looks like a bedroom with a single twin in the middle of the room. I take a few steps in, looking around and not seeing anything else.
Yeah, Brian, there's no room for you here tonight, so you gotta get going.
Mm-hmm.
You probably just sleep on the floor. It's a lot softer than the wood planks I usually sleep on.
When I turn back around, I do see some picture frames hung up on the wall. Seems kind of odd for someone like Duke to have those up. In the pictures I see
How dare him have family and friends that he wants to, remember.
Yeah, how could
Stupid
he?
Duke.
He's just a crazy psycho, right? Who's crazy? In the picture, I see a much younger Duke, or at least pre-meth Duke.
So like 6 months ago.
Yeah. Next to him is a female weasel, her smile small compared to Duke's tooth-bearing grin. She's in the 3 other pictures to that one, too. Next to that one, too. Weird. I wouldn't have thought anyone would want to be with Duke, especially someone as petty as that weasel. As pretty as that weasel.
As petty as that weasel. I'm petty. I'm gonna marry you.
You petty bastard.
That's gonna make me wonder, like, how long ago did go down? I should probably save this for like the end of this episode, but when Duke and Brian kind of got together, and more of a question for Kaiser, actually.
I'm thinking 10-ish years because they do talk about it in TJ's route that, that Rachel was really nice and, Duke was just like, an ordinary neighbor when they were little kids. So
Oh, okay.
I don't know if it's before. I think it would probably be before Sydney died. Would be my guess offhand.
So Rachel died before Sydney.
That's my guess,
I move on to the next room, and this one is completely empty, painted white. The next door down is the last one on the right side of the hall. This is the only door that's closed and, like the last room's walls, is painted white. It's taller and seems to be a bit thicker than the other doors. When I try the knob, it's locked.
Rudzu? A locked door is, exceeding my powers of otterness.
Oh no, whatever should I do?
Clearly, I can't figure out, how to, open a door. It's too hard.
Well, me as a cat, I probably just sit outside the door and just yowl until someone opened it.
Yeah.
And then once you go on the other side of it, then you immediately yowl to go back out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, exactly. You hear Duke either like come into the house or from behind the door just be.
Duke just comes in and sighs and lets you in.
It's like, God damn it! Go in the damn room. Then he closes the door, starts walking away. He's like, yowl. I'm like, now you want to go out again? God damn it!
Friggin' cat.
Man.
I whisper, and Kudzu pokes his head out from the door just behind me. What's up? I point at the door in front of me.
This one's locked. Therefore, it must be special. Okay, we need to grab some red pages, some blue pages, fight a mini boss. That'll have the key for sure. And then we also have to figure out 5 more traps.
Well, as soon as this door gets opened, is this going to turn to like a wall of fog?
Kudzu, did you
it'll
bring
be
that
like Silent
chainsaw?
Hill where you have to go through 5 more rooms just to get across the room.
Kudzu pulls out that chainsaw he just hid somewhere and chains out, saws out the lock.
Like, what is this, Left 4 Dead? Pulled the chainsaw out of his
I was
pocket.
going to say, he switched from Silent Hill to Resident Evil.
He's like, hell yeah. Just goes and starts sawing people.
I came here to chew gum and find Leo, and I haven't found Leo. And I'm all out of gum.
Kudzu stands in front of the door and presses his ear to it. I see his hand hover in front of the crack between the door and the frame. Then he reaches out to my hand and pulls it to the same spot. He looks at me. You feel that? I'm about to say no, but That's when there's a noticeably cooler draft coming from within.
Yeah, because, if you're going to keep a prisoner, you have to give them the air conditioning. I mean, that would just be, inhumane
Oh,
to,
yeah.
like, make them be in the heat and a prisoner against their will.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
It's kind of cold. Because I'm Chase. I understand air conditioning.
The basement. I'd bet my ass that's where Leo's down there. I swallow.
Ooh, I want to do the bet his ass. Ooh. If I win the bet, do I get to do whatever I want with it? Ooh.
Yes, you can do whatever you want with Leo. We find them.
Oh, you won't
Should
with the
we try
raccoon.
to break down the door or something?
I don't. Kuzu's ears suddenly perk straight up as his eyes widen. My fur bristles out.
What? Well, boy, come on, use your words. Well, boy.
That's when I hear it, the crunching of gravel. Kuzu grabs my arm and starts pushing me back down the hall towards the back room with the broken window. At that
As soon as
moment,
he said like he hears a crunch of gravel, my first thought was, "Oh, they have a quarry. They're making gravel." My brain.
Well, Brian and Duke should be turning big rocks into little rocks if you hear me talking.
at that moment, I hear the knob turn, and suddenly my path changes direction as Kuzu steers me into the room to our left. On our left. It's one of the rooms I hadn't looked into myself, and I see it's a storage room. Boxes are everywhere, and so is a bit of junk. I guess that explains why all the other rooms are so spotless, and and that he's not using his basement for storage. Kuzu looks around desperately for a moment, then pulls me behind a mound of boxes, just as I hear the door swing open.
The problem ain't that he got away.
Duke is practically screeching when he comes inside, as if he's been waiting to be indoors before he yelled. Underneath Duke's pattering feet on the wooden floor, I hear two loud thumps, and I know immediately who's with him. And this is why you finish all people who are trying to kill you.
That's right. Double tap.
Mm-hmm.
Zombieland taught us that.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
that.
but I'm Duke, and I'm going to be courteous to my non-existent neighbors, and I'm going to have my domestic quarrel with my long-term life partner indoors, and then I'll really be yelling at him.
Mm-hmm.
I was more referring to Kutsu and Chase. You should have double tapped.
Yes, 100%.
+5.
My blood runs cold and my breathing seems to stop. Worried that they'll be able to hear even that.
If he's behind all this, it's going to make things so much worse. Worse than the murders we've been doing and the kidnapping and you almost doing the R word on the otter. It's going to be worse. Don't know how, but it's going to be worse.
And he was subjecting him to his cartoons. Oh.
Well, I almost did if some stupid, ugly weasel didn't stop me. Huh.
I hear a non-committal grunt from the bear, and I shudder at the sound of his voice again. I feel a light touch on my back as Kudzu rests his hand there, trying to comfort me.
He just screamed at us, like he feels a light touch. He's like,
oh.
Like, good job. You
No,
fell.
he just goes into full PTSD mode the moment he hears Brian and just starts screaming.
Yeah.
Just falls to the floor, like curls in like a fetal position, screaming.
Yeah, and Chase is like, and like pulls back. It's those people at a D&D game. Chase critically failed the stealth check.
Echo is just the gamers.
What do you mean, huh? You like dreams you're having right now? Because trust me, it's going to get a hell of a lot worse. Because, that's the worst thing we can do. We have going with us that justifies murder. bad dreams. Nightmares are clearly solved by murder, Brian. We've been over this.
Yeah, don't you know? I mean, that's how I got rid of my. That's how I get rid of my night terror demon, sleep paralysis monster. You know, you just whip out a shotgun somehow and shoot it.
Whereas the cure sleep apnea, that just needs a kidnapping.
That's right.
I am Dr. Sleep here in Echo. I'm running my own little, sleep clinic.
Yep.
So, Brian, if you need an update on your CPAP, just give me a holler.
Also, he cures chronic insomnia with an axe. I mean, we figure it out. You know, it's great.
Well, that was Janice's solution, and, well, we found out what happens to her.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. I hear a smacking sound, which I imagine is Duke's tiny hand trying to slap Brian in the face.
Which face?
Which face?
His butt face.
He just puts little sunglasses back there. Duke's...
I mean, clearly my awesome beauty is, bewitched you. But other than that, Brian...
Duke's grating, nasally voice echoes around the carpetless house.
Your window.
There's a moment of silence as I hear some shifting around. Then suddenly I hear Duke's footsteps bustle down the hall. I duck more deeply behind the boxes as he passes the doorway to our room.
I mean, there better not be a hot raccoon and a dumb otter getting their pants down without me getting an invite.
Brian's lumbered down the hall, basically standing around in front of our room. I hear 2 more thumps and a bunch of wrestling as Duke ineffectively beats at the bear's bulk.
They broke in!
I hear a jingling of keys as Duke continues to shout.
Check every fucking room. I bet they broke the basement window too, because that would have been smarter and starting down there. But instead, they just sliced the otter's arm on a random window that you have to, jump up to.
Also, didn't they say that the blood was going kind of everywhere? So wouldn't there be a trail they could follow?
Yep. Again, you keep reading ahead.
I'm not reading ahead.
It ruins our fun of spoilers.
This is just me referencing what I think is going to happen. Now that he says it, breaking through the basement window might have been a better idea. No shit.
Or at least looking through it, because, you'd be able to see a giant red wolf in the middle of it.
Yeah. Looking between a crack in the boxes, I get a flash of the weasel coming past the door again. He's holding something long and shiny. I shrink back against the boxes, wondering how in the world I got here. As I stare at the ground, I also wonder if I'm about to have a heart attack. I focus on watching...
21? Probably.
I focus on watching the blood seep from my arm, pooling on the wooden floor next to me. I hear a key go into the lock and a doorknob to turn.
I swear to God, if that wolf ain't down there, I'll blow your goddamn face off. As opposed to the way I normally blow your face.
Mm-hmm. Duke's voice fades away, accompanied by receding footsteps down the stairs. The heavy footfalls of Brian start to move around slowly towards the other end of the hall. Kudzu moves his hand up to my shoulder. I look at him and he holds a finger up to his lips, then points in the direction of the broken window. I don't want to move at all. In fact, I'd rather sit here and disappear into the floor. Somehow, though, I'm able to force myself to my feet as Kudzu tugs me up. We move very slowly to the doorway, and there Kudzu holds up a hand, making me pause. I watch his ears perk, flicking in the direction of Brian. My hearing probably isn't nearly as good as his, but I'm still able to pick up some of the bear's heavy, labored breathing. I hear some shuffling, then more heavy footsteps. Kudzu freezes as we both listen to the bear move back into the hallway. Then his footsteps fade away. I imagine he's moved into another room, and that's when Kudzu finally peers around the corner. I hold my breath, but Kudzu reaches back and grabs my wrist, pulling me out into the hallway. It's empty and as quietly and quickly as we can, we move to the end of the hall and stand next to the broken window. Kudzu sticks one leg out the window before balancing his entire weight on both of his hands that are resting at the bottom ledge. Like a gymnast.
Because he's a gymnast raccoon.
That's what I was thinking.
Oh, he literally says that.
Stop reading ahead. You're ruining our
Reading ahead.
enjoyment of the...
Stop that. Bad Kaiser. Bad Hund.
Like a gymnast, he moves the other leg out and quietly drops to the ground outside, his head narrowly missing the top ledge. I don't know if it's because he's a raccoon or an actual gymnast, but there's no way in hell that I'm going to be able to do that. Kudzu's already reaching for me, though his eyes are wide with frantic worry. I can hear shuffling sounds behind me again, coming from one of the rooms. Kudzu reaches out towards me, then suddenly waves his hand wildly in the direction of the room next to me. Heart pounding, I almost stumble through the doorway into the room. This one has a few chairs stacked up against the side of the wall and what looks like a closet door. Brian's footsteps thump down the hall again, and I almost gasp as I get a glimpse of his massive shadow through the doorway. But then it disappears as I hear his footsteps move into the room right next to me. Just from inside the room, I see Kudzu pop back up in front of the window, then motion frantically towards himself. My legs are like jelly, though, and I hesitate. Then there's a raspy dragging sound in the room next to me that almost makes me jump. It's the sound of a cardboard box being slid across the floor. I hear Brian mumbling.
Definitely not paint.
I better try some just to make sure.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Coppery.
Otter.
Tastes like liver.
Yeah, then he gets a little glass of water. He's like, tastes like lead. I force my numbed feet to stumble out into the hallway towards the window. Kudzu reaches for me, his eyes desperate, but then I hear the shuffling behind me again. Why is he moving so fast now? Automatically, I step back into the room while Kudzu continues to beckon to himself. Brian's lumbering footsteps move down the hallway, slowly in my direction. Kudzu has ducked back down, out of sight. I'm alone. I'm trapped.
Hey, this is the point where Chase should just take a few steps back and then just run towards the broken window and just dive through, and just as he's passing through it, just fart, just real loud. Just,
No, it's kind of like one of those cartoons where he does do that, but then he jumps so high he crashes through the rest of the window,
or
just to make sure it's good and broken.
Or he's just he hits the wall. It's clearly dives for the window and then just he smashes into the wall.
We're talking about cartoony. His entire body just sort of collapses in on itself like an accordion.
Yeah. You actually hear the accordion sound.
Yeah. I remember the closet at the last minute and lunged towards it, not having enough time to worry about the sound I make. Somehow, the closet door glides open with hardly a sound, as if the hinge had been recently greased. I step inside, then swing the door shut, trying not to let it snap close.
Well, you gotta take care of your closet, because both Duke and Brian, try to live in it. Even though it's clear.
At that exact moment, Brian's lumbering gait enters the room. I shrink back against the wall, holding my hands to my mouth and trying not to breathe. My heartbeat is so loud, it's the only thing I can hear as it pounds in my ears. I hear coughing and grunting coming from behind the door, then it goes quiet. I wait, unsure of whether the bear has left or not. Slowly I walk up to the door, pressing the side of my head gently against it, listening, trying to see if I can hear anything. I swallow, then reach reach up to rest my hand on the doorknob. I think about making a run for it, maybe trying to dive through the window. I might get hurt, but if I'm able to get away... I wait for what feels like 2, maybe 3 minutes. It's complete silence on the other side. If I wait even longer, to the point where I'm sure there's no way someone like Brian could keep that quiet that long.
Yeah, because we know he has ADHD. He can't possibly have the art of patience.
So as slowly as I can, I push the door open. And it immediately comes into contact with something on the other side before it's even a foot open. It's soft, whatever it is. The door almost bounces back from it. I wait for a moment, then, as I'm starting to realize what just happened, a massive bear paw reaches around the edge of the door. In the next half a second, the door is ripped open, and I find myself facing Brian. A weird, numbing feeling is spreading from my crotch into my legs, and I sag in front of the bear. My mind refuses to think, to even process what my eyes are seeing. What it does process is pure terror. Brian seems to have trouble understanding what he's seeing as well. He stares at me for a few seconds, his eyes practically crossing as he focuses on me. Then he grins.
Hey, you?
I can't respond.
You wanted to get some table time in already? Well, I guess I got you trained, little otter.
You want some ice cream? You want some ice cream?
I have candy in my van.
Yeah, that unmarked white one. Instead, I press back into the closet, flattening myself against the walls as he reaches out to me. Still, there isn't much I can do as he grabs the front of my shirt and yanks me out of the closet.
Yeah, Chase, this is also a coming out story. So
He starts to pull me towards the doorway, and as I stumble into the hall, I'm finally able to start trying to move again. Seeing the window, I lunge towards it, but Brian's grip is too strong. I hear a few popping sounds as some threads of my shirt give out, and Brian yanks me back violently.
You know, I just thought, why doesn't he just, like, really quickly slip out of his shirt and just run out just bare-chested? Because Brian's only holding the shirt.
Remember, Chase is just completely incompetent.
This is true. Like, everything is like... the Echo story basically progresses because of Chase's incompetence.
to be fair, Brian and Duke are not competent either. So it's really just a case of idiot on idiot violence.
Idiot on idiot.
Yeah, pretty much. Everything goes black as something massive knocks up against the side of my face, and the next thing I know, I'm thrown down the hall, flat on my back. I'm staring up at the ceiling, watching it slide sideways above me, like it's painted into a treadmill. My right foot is hiked into the air, and I realize that Brian's dragging me along the floor now, back towards the end of the hall. The fur on my back glides easily along the hardwood, my shirt scrunching up into my chest. Brian,
yeah,
stop.
He's just dragging him caveman style.
Yeah.
Boonga boonga. Me, Brian. Me, West.
I'm kind of surprised that Chase's tail, like, doesn't get caught and, like, just fold up to his back and just kind of, like, get, like, what was it, like?
Well, I mean, it's a big old thick otter tail, so...
Yeah, that would just be... Well, they are also going downstairs, so I guess it would be kind of hard to catch on the steps as they're going down.
And he doesn't know it, but his head is hitting every single step. Oof! Ow!
And you just hear it, thump, 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 thump.
Yeah, he's like...
It's almost like that. It's almost like that Dark Souls meme. You go down the stairs, just slide down it.
Now, just imagine if the developers, just for comedic purpose, put every single step that they go down into the game, where he's just like, ooh, ooh.
Yeah, just Brian steps down the stairs slowly. You just hear dum, dum, dum. It's like his head banging.
Brian stops as he reaches the white door, pushing it open. Dizzy, I look up at the window when Kudzu is there and if he can see me. I reach
No,
towards
he
it.
dipped. He's just like, no, Chase is dead now. I'm just gonna go home.
I reach towards it, but that's when I'm being dragged again and I land painfully on the first step.
Boom.
I gasp and turn sideways so that Brian drags me clumsily down the rest of the steps. My spine isn't taking the rest of the corners.
His head is. Bum, 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 bum.
Yeah, but he's not using it for much, so.
Yeah. He's not. There's not a whole lot in there to scramble, honestly.
It's dark and the air turns cool and musty. We finally reach the bottom of the steps, pain pulsing at various points on my body from the rough handling. Brian starts dragging me again, and I finally realize that he's going to have me trapped again. He'll do whatever his sick mind thinks up, and there won't be anybody to stop him.
Oh, come on. Detective Carl would be on the case.
Mhm.
He's totally gonna, figure out the clues and track you down, Chase.
Yep.
You cut out really bad. Try it again.
No.
Good enough. I moan.
Good enough. Because it sounds
Did I
sounds
do it
like
too high pitched that my mic not pick it up?
yeah, because it sounds like no.
Do I have to do the Vader?
Pretty much, yeah.
Not gonna be in Thor movies, which will actually make sense because we'll all be owned by Disney by then.
I moan and try to grab something, anything to stop me from being pulled deeper into this basement. My hand manages to latch on to a wooden beam next to the stairs. Brian grunts as my body is snapped into full extension and we're both brought to a halt.
Come on. Let go.
I keep clinging to the beam, imagining that at any moment Kudzu's going to come running down the stairs, gun in hand. That's right. Chase is going to just suddenly have a pink dress on, and like Kudzu's going to rush down like it's some sort of hero movie or something. Chase is the
Brian's just
damsel.
gonna tie him to the train tracks.
Yeah.
twirl
Chase
his
is the
mustache.
damsel in distress.
It's all black and white film. You just hear like the music, and it's just whenever they talk, just they don't really hear anything. They just see like this screen come up in front of them, and it just says what they're saying.
You just see like Leo bounce up and down a little bit, and see the black screen with white text. Is this whoever
Well, it's better than
talks?
the blue screen of death.
Yeah, whoever talks just brightens up a little bit and bounces. Like the entire game is made with Fujitech. I keep clinging to the beam, imagining that at any moment Kuzu's going to come running down the stairs, gun in hand. That comes to an end as Brian kicks me in the chest, and I let go with a wheeze.
You know, you're the one making this hard on yourself.
He starts
But Brian,
dragging.
I thought you liked hard things. That's what you said in the trailer.
Yeah.
You like it when things get hard.
He starts dragging me again as I curl up and cradle my chest, vaguely hoping that he'd given me a heart attack and I'd be free of all this.
Just kill me
Or
now.
you could have just shot him.
Yeah.
I swear to God, if you're lying to me, Leo, I'm gonna paint the ceiling with your fucking brains. Which brains is my favorite color. It's right there between cinnamon and salmon. So it's a very good color.
Plus
My wife liked it a lot.
you can just spread it on walls. It spreads like butter. It's great. Fantastic paint.
Why am I still here? If someone came in to save me, then.
The sound of Leo's voice has me snapping my eyes open again. While it isn't quite as heartening as Kudzu barging in with a weapon, it's definitely relieving to hear his voice again. I'm dragged through another doorway into a brightly lit room with the fluorescent light buzzing overhead. As I come to a stop on the cement floor, the room goes quiet. I squint against the sudden light. The
Okay,
walls...
let's see. Duke's survival palace includes, he does have some blankets and pillows. He's got, the overhead plumbing, so, definitely looks like a basement. He's got, what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 6 packs of beer. You need warm beer in an emergency. That's priority one.
Mm-hmm. He's got
Yeah,
some
'cause you can't have it
instant...
cool.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
just cheating for the apocalypse.
He's
Well,
got
you
some
know,
instant coffee.
back in the medieval era, like they only drank beer because the water was shit. So you couldn't really drink the literal piss. So it'd be like drinking from the
Well,
Ganges.
no, that was like true up to like the 1900s.
You want water?
I mean,
Here,
that's
beer.
why prohibition was such a thing, because everybody was drinking so much.
Yeah. So they solved the problem of dehydration with, illness and dysentery.
Don't worry, we won't die of dysentery. We'll die of liver cancer.
Come with me. Come with me, my friend. We'll die of dysentery. I saw that meme. I saw that on Facebook earlier today. It was pretty good, hilarious.
It's just like, oh, look, little Timmy was just born. He's only 1 month old. Actually, he's only 1 day old. Have a shot, little Timmy.
Have a shot, Tim.
Because I'm sure you're going to start teething any minute now. So here, so let me just rub it right in on your gums.
I don't know why I did Mickey Mouse, but I did.
Y'all,
Oh boy, alcohol, my favorite.
And all of this translated from cuckoo, caca, caca, cuckoo.
Baby Mouse.
walls
Baby Mouse. Squeak, squeak, squeak.
The walls on all sides are covered in shelves that are filled with silver tins and soup cans. A storage room of some kind. Duke is
I don't
standing
see any soup in this picture.
Duke is standing in the middle of the room next to a metal chair, staring at me. And that chair is Leo.
I think I see like a Campbell's, like underneath the beer.
Yeah, I was
Campbell.
thinking that was Folgers, because for some reason that looked like coffee.
I guess we're now suddenly sponsored by, like, what was it, Folgers or something?
Yeah, we start naming off a whole bunch of like potential sponsors, and we just have to have on the screen the entire time. Post edit. It says not a sponsor.
It's just like,
Now we'll just
Folgers.
do
Torture
re-edits. This
responsibly.
kidnapping brought to you by Doritos.
Folgers. Torture responsibly. I don't know, something like that.
Torture responsibly.
This will keep you awake in the murder dungeon.
Mm-hmm. His arms are down at his sides, and I can see that they're both handcuffed to the side of the chair. His feet are similarly strapped to the chair's legs. His face is one of shock as he almost stares at me, open-mouthed. Stare back, even feeling weirdly self-conscious as everyone's watches me.
Yeah, you can tell Duke is an amateur. He doesn't have a bondage rig just ready to go for his male visitors.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, you can tell he's a newbie.
Yeah, he only has a metal chair. Doesn't even have a swing. Duke breaks the silence.
I knew it!
Duke is
Even though the things you said were logical and flowed perfectly, I believe the counterintuitive thing, and therefore I'm right.
Duke is snarling, but it's not at me. Instead, he's looking at Brian, his lips drawn back as he growls.
This is what the fuck happens. I'm not going to elaborate.
Brian
You know,
scratches his
you
head.
taking some CBT and having a grand old time with that raccoon, somehow leads to an otter breaking into my house. Clearly, logic A and logic B points just line right up.
Mm-hmm. Go for it, Brian.
What happens?
Duke kicks at the air with a foot before stamping down on the hard cement that makes up the floor of the room.
It's a Duke or tantrum.
Behold my weasel foo.
Go for it, Duke.
Leo wasn't supposed to know he got away, which changes nothing at this point. It's meaningless.
Yeah.
But Leo,
That's
tell us all the
Brian's
secrets of the
point.
supernatural.
That's Brian's point right here.
Well, I caught him, so what's the difference?
Duke lunges at Brian, swinging his arms a few times to beat his fist uselessly against the bear's bulk. Brian flinches back away, letting go of my foot. Leo's still staring down at me, mouth slightly less open, and I have no idea what's going on in his mind right now. I suddenly realized how stupid I was to come here with Gutsu. No.
Again, the only time he has introspection is when it's completely useless.
Yeah, maybe allow the person who's really good at slipping into places go it alone.
The hindsight is actually like 2020.
Yeah, that is the saying.
Chase's hindsight is, 20-0.
Mm-hmm.
It's really good, but only after the fact.
He has terrible foresight.
Sure, saving Leo as soon as possible was important, but why had I thought we could have done it alone? I should be in my car right now, halfway to Peyton, 20 miles away from the cops. Instead, I'm in Duke's basement about to be murdered. I slowly sit up as Duke seems to finish his beating of Brian. Gasping, he turns to me.
Yes, because I, Duke, do beat my domestic partners. And look at him. He looks all bruised, doesn't he? Mm-hmm. Look at all those bruises. I am clearly a good fighter.
Yep.
Duke has a...
Well, if you're here, I guess we just have to make use of you. So, Brian,
funny.
depacify him.
It's kind of funny that Duke is like so vicious. It's kind of like he fancies himself as a honey badger or something.
Yeah. You see what this scene is? Is Duke and Brian, they're at the scene of this musical set, and they're both on this boat that's going on water, and they go through this little cave in the background. And Duke's like, "You brute, you brute, you brute!" As he like it's on Brian's chest. They come out. It's like, so ready to go get dinner? Yeah, let's go do it.
They're like, I parked over by the Coliseum.
If you guys don't know what I'm referencing, it's from Blazing Saddles. Yeah,
He wore a blazing, or he rode a blazing saddle. The horse.
Yeah. So it's great. It's made by
Mel Brooks.
Mel Brooks, yeah.
And Gene Wilder. Yeah, you can't go
Gene
wrong with
Wilder.
that combo.
And they're just mocking something pretty funny.
Basically all westerns.
But how they're mocking it is hilarious. He waves his hand loosely between me and Brian.
Pick him up. I know you did that on Tinder earlier, but actually physically pick him up this time, Brian.
Wait a second. Just...
Got it.
Brian picks me up roughly, almost encircling my chest with his hands alone, and as he pins my arms to my side. He holds me up in front of Leo, and Duke stands to their side between us. It's only
I
now
like that Chase is so small, he's just like a doll.
Yeah.
For Brian. It's just, we got your otter. We got him. We got your otter. Yeah, boy. You want your otter?
I imagine Brian is just holding Chase like when somebody holds a cat from behind, just under the arms.
Yeah.
Chase's arms are just sticking out in front of him. It's only now that I notice the puffiness in Leo's left eye and some crushed blood near his brow, with some more coming from his lower lip. It's not terrible, but it's clear he'd been hit a few times. As I watch him, I can see the fear in his eyes reflected back at me. That alone almost scares me more than the situation we're in.
Not smirking anymore, are you? I got your otter. We're going to play keep away with him. And, Brian's got this bondage rig that I really like. And, we're going to cuck the otter because I'm going to get all the playtime and he's just going to sit in the corner and watch.
You say you pat him back and forth. It's like Brian, Duke's like, toss the otter at me. I'll toss him back. Brian tosses chase at Duke, and he just gets like thrown against the wall. Actually, just